Hey everybody, Jason and John here for Everyday Crypto, sponsored by CryptoTaxShield.com. Jason, how you doing?
John, doing great. How you doing today?
I'm hanging in there, man. Appreciate you sitting down. There's some interesting news coming out today from the Fed, and I thought, man, let's get Jason on a call. Let's kind of talk about it and see how it affects crypto, because I know there's some stuff going on with Bitcoin that as well. So appreciate you taking some time, and let's dive into it.
Yeah, so the Feds came out today and announced a 50 basis point increase in interest rates.
Right.
Oh, if I could, please, if you find any educational or entertainment value in this at all, please like and subscribe. It helps us help you, and we are not financial advisors. Please do your own research.
Absolutely.
And everyone thought that this would crush some markets.
Yeah.
I know the stock market's kind of sideways, but crypto's actually up today. So Bitcoin's went from 37 to about 40, maybe 39, 40. I think there's a lot to say about that, right? So I do think a lot of traditional finance investors are finding a safe haven in crypto because every time, so the Feds have already announced that there's probably 6 rate increases this year coming.
Wow.
And that's always bad for investment assets. Stock market, crypto, usually stuff like that. But I think people are starting to see crypto differently.
Okay.
So crypto is like Bitcoin specifically is the answer to all the problems with fiat currencies ran by central organizations like governments, right?
Right.
So there's a thing called a decoupling that's starting to happen. Forever, Bitcoin's movement has been tied to the S&P 500. Mm-hmm. And now you're starting to see them act differently. Like maybe the S&P goes down, but Bitcoin goes up. And in fact, if you compare the percentages of losses over the last 6 months, the S&P 500 has gotten beat up really bad, whereas crypto's not really. I mean, It's taken a slight hit, but not like the S&P 500 has.
Sure.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. I think we can look at El Salvador, right? I think this is a good example on why I think Bitcoin will act differently than most other investment vehicles. So about, 6-7 months ago, El Salvador named Bitcoin as legal tender.
Right.
And they did it because their currency was so unstable. And their citizens, something crazy, like 60% of their citizens didn't have access to banks. Americans don't realize that. Americans never think about that.
Right.
Because there's a bank on every corner, right?
Absolutely.
But in second and third world countries, there aren't. So a citizen who works 40 hours a week, maybe 80 hours a week, who knows, the second they get paid, they want to spend that money as fast as possible because they do not have trust in their own currency. Mm-hmm. Their currency can die 50% in one day. It happens all the time. So usually what happens prior to this is a country like El Salvador would go to a major either world power country or an organization.
Right.
And that organization would step in and say, okay, look, we're going to give you billions of dollars, but there are strings attached. Mm-hmm. Either we have access to your natural resources or we get to play puppeteer to your politics. That's the incentive for the country to come in and help. It's not really based on goodwill.
Right.
And El Salvador didn't want to go down that road. They were the first country who said, look, we just don't want to do that. We know how this turns out. And a lot of people thought it was a huge mistake and then it would backfire, but it's not. Now there's citizens who don't have banks but do have telephones and internets.
Right.
They're using Bitcoin. Why? Because now when they get their paycheck, they can save it, right? They can act as their own bank. Bitcoin over time goes up in value more so than any other asset.
Sure.
So that changes their life dramatically. Now they don't have to spend that paycheck right away. They can start saving, right?
Right.
And that changes the path of their lives. And that has a domino effect. So lots of other countries now are en route to this. I mean, most of South America is looking at this if they haven't already put a bill in front of their Congress. In Africa, you got the Republic of Africa, which is a country within Africa that's passed it as legal tender as well.
Wow.
So you have the world's poor who are the victims of centralized governments running their money, who are now changing their lives due to Bitcoin.
Sure.
But beyond that, you've got every oligarch, millionaire, billionaire on earth who, if they've got a good financial advisor, they know that paper money is melting.
Right.
It's losing its buying power across the globe. America is dollars holding up stronger than most, but it's bad too.
Sure.
So they're looking for what are called stores of wealth. They want to preserve their wealth. They're not looking to make more money. They're looking to preserve what they have.
Right.
It used to be gold. Now it's Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
You've got every endowment, like the Harvard endowment, all the Ivy League colleges. They have billions of dollars of endowments. It's money they invest and hold. Right. Well, if they're holding dollars, it's melting as well.
Right.
You got corporations like I think Microsoft has some ridiculous amount of wealth in holdings, like trillions of dollars.
Right.
They have to be concerned about preservation of wealth as well.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I just want to jump in real quick, and I know you don't have this data, so I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But in places like El Salvador, where they sort of implement this new way of living, essentially, I wonder what it looks like from the street level for mass adoption in that country. I'd like to see that process.
So what they did is they gave out $30 worth of Bitcoin to every El Salvadorian.
Okay.
And then there's an app that they use on their phone. I forget what it's called. And people thought that people like me, not so much like me, but other hardcore Bitcoiners, they didn't think anybody would ever spend Bitcoin. Why would you spend Bitcoin? It has so much value. Like, I would never spend my Bitcoin.
Right.
But I'm not in El Salvador.
Right.
And they found out that not only did most residents of El Salvador,
those folks,
not only do they use it, but they are continually using it. They are now using it as their payment method, and they're asking to get paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And this is a domino effect. You'll see it. I mean, I can guarantee a year from now, most of South America that's struggling with their currency stability will be on the Bitcoin standard.
Right.
And here's what people don't know. Every rich entity on earth, every poor entity on earth, every investor on earth is going to wake up to the fact that Bitcoin is the answer to all the problems with centralized currencies. Right?
Yep.
Your government can print off as much money as it wants. In 2008, when the housing collapse happened, they just printed off trillions of dollars. That's all they did. That's how they fixed that problem.
Right.
But you're just kicking the can down the road. You're creating debt.
Right.
The servicing of that debt alone is billions of dollars a month. You're not paying down the debt. You're just servicing the interest on that debt.
Right.
That becomes a noose to every country on earth. If America wasn't America, if America, let's say, was Greece, we would already be bankrupt.
Right.
Right. And there's countries going bankrupt left and right. Like Sri Lanka is about to go bankrupt.
Right. Yep.
It's going to happen faster and faster. And right now, there's about 2 million Bitcoin available for sale.
Right.
The rest are being held up in wallets that are not interested in selling. And the remainers are lost in time. So really, out of 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be available, currently right now, there's 2 million-ish. We are still early on the awakening of the importance and the value of this, but it won't happen linearly. It will happen exponentially. It'll be like, it won't be one guy jump in the pool, then the next guy jump in the pool. It'll be one guy, 3 guys, 9 guys, 50 guys, 100 guys. Like, that's how fast it'll grow. And you're going to see this happen so fast. So that's kind of my take. I think short term, we're going to have some instability as far as price action. I don't think these things that I'm talking about are being priced in. I think even like Michael Saylor just said the other day, he goes, people who don't know about Bitcoin talk about it. People who know about it buy it.
Right.
And it's really hard to explain to people that I meet on the street why Bitcoin is so valuable. It's not just a thing. It's a technology. It's a new wave of technology. It's the future of money. It's the future of so many other things. it would take, you always see there's a light bulb that goes off. Like Michael Saylor used to say, because he was the first CEO who put Bitcoin on his corporate balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to have known that was a very risky situation because being the first to anything, if this thing fails, his corporation that he built up from the ground up, self-made billionaire, would probably take a massive hit.
Absolutely.
So under all that pressure, he used to wake up in the middle of the night wondering if he should buy any Bitcoin at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, when I figured out what exactly Bitcoin was, he would wake up in the middle of the night wondering if he bought enough.
Right.
And this is the same guy who buys billion-dollar chunks still.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to become the biggest Bitcoin holder on earth.
Wow.
And he's highly intelligent. If you look across the globe, the smartest people are extremely involved in Bitcoin.
Right.
Like Elon Musk, Twitter guy. Like I can name off. The list is endless, right?
Sure.
But these are the guys that are ahead of the curve. They see things before they happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Much like the internet. Most people didn't get it at first. It took several years for us to really understand, like, oh, this is going to change our lives. How's this going to work?
Sure.
But some people did understand it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so, and we're talking a lot about Bitcoin, and you're talking about Bitcoin being the answer for a lot of decentralized goodness. Does that also encompass things like Ethereum and some of the other currency, or is it really do people really sort of just need to focus on Bitcoin?
I speak of Bitcoin right now because I think it's the most relevant thing you're going to hear about for the next 6 months.
Okay,
but all decentralized cryptos have their own place. Like for example,
gotcha.
Bitcoin's a store of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum is more like the internet.
Okay.
It's a store of wealth too, but it's way more than that because on Ethereum you have smart contracts,
right, which
allows you to do decentralized finance, which opens up a whole world of activity within financial movement.
Right.
So yeah, like Bitcoin store wealth.
Okay.
Ethereum's like, think of it like the internet.
Gotcha.
It'll be the foundation layer, but you could speak about any industry, like for example, logistics, right?
Yeah.
There are cryptocurrencies that are specifically designed through blockchain technology to make logistics better.
Gotcha.
Music, there's crypto that addresses the biggest problem within music is the centralization of it all.
Right.
It's endless. I mean, honestly, like it is really endless. There are tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies out there, and they all address different issues. Gotcha. The underlying technology is blockchain technology. So crypto is short for cryptography, and cryptography is pretty much how your internet was made.
Right.
So think of crypto as the next evolution of the internet.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jason, I really appreciate this, man. Yeah, this puts a lot of things into perspective, sort of at that street level that we can all enjoy and learn. And appreciate it, man. This is all good stuff.
Yeah, man, John, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, absolutely. We'll do another one very soon. CryptoTaxShield.com. Jason, appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon.
You got it.
All right, take care.